Hi everyone, welcome to the series of lectures on signals and systems. So in this class also we continue the discussion on this topic, which is the Fourier transform of the standard signals. So in the sequence the next signal is this is very important for the examination point of view. So many times this question came in the examination. So which is the Fourier transform of periodic signal. So Fourier transform of periodic signal. How to find the Fourier transform of a periodic signal? This is very important question. Essay question came. So last time also they are giving this question, Fourier transform of a periodic signal. How to find the Fourier transform of a periodic signal? Now, so first to find out the Fourier transform of the periodic signal, first you should know the periodic signal and how we express this periodic signal. So all of you already know the Fourier series, the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So in that Fourier series is always used to represent a periodic signal. So here I am considering the Fourier series, which is the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So in that the periodic signal x of t with the period t is expressed. So using this expression, all of you already know this formula, minus infinity plus infinity Cn e power Jn omega naught t. So this is the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So already we know this complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So which is the second type of the Fourier series representation. The first is the trigonometric Fourier series and the second is the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. Now to find out the Fourier transform of a periodic signal, I just considered the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So using that expansion, the periodic signal x of t is represented in this manner. So which is sigma n equal to minus infinity plus infinity Cn e power Jn omega naught t. So this is your periodic signal. This is your periodic signal. Now I want to find out the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. So this is very important question. I want to find out the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. For that you just apply the Fourier transform both sides of this above equation. So if we apply the Fourier transform on both sides of this expression, so Fourier transform of x of t, here x of t is a periodic signal with period t. So if we apply the Fourier transform, first we should know the representation of a periodic signal x of t in terms of the complex exponential signals. Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Cn e power Jn omega naught t. So I just considered the periodic signal x of t. So with the help of the complex exponential Fourier series expansion, already you know this is your periodic signal, and here Cn is what? The complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. So this is complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. So this is the representation of the periodic signal. So in the question it is given, find out the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. So I just apply the Fourier transform on both sides of this equation. On both sides of this equation. Now how can we calculate this? How can we calculate this? So to calculate this one, so you just minus infinity plus infinity Cn, here the Fourier transform of e power Jn omega naught t. So I can rewrite this expression like this. Now all of you know already. So what is the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal, which is g power j omega naught t? So already we derived this one. This is complex exponential signal. This is the fourth signal. we are deriving complex exponential signal. So what is the result of the Fourier transform of this complex exponential signal? So the result is 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. So if it is plus here, so you should get minus. If it is minus here, so you should get plus here. So this is the formula for the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal. Now you just apply this formula in this equation. So we will get sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Here the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient is Cn. Cn is a constant. Cn is complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. So that's why I apply the Fourier transform only for this exponential function. Now what is Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught t? Here the Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught t. So I already told you entire Fourier transform depends on the two formulas. One is Fourier transform formula, another one is the inverse Fourier transform formula. If you know those two formulas, you can easily grasp the content of the Fourier transforms. Now what is the Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught t? So it is nothing but 2 pi times delta of omega minus, in terms of omega naught, here we have what? So n times omega naught. So n times omega naught. So this is the formula for the Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught t. So instead of omega naught, here we have n times omega naught. Therefore you need to subtract this n times omega naught from the omega. So this is your formula for the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal. You just substitute this formula in this equation, so that you can get 2 pi times delta of omega minus n times omega naught. I just rearranging this equation. Now what is the Fourier transform of the periodic signal x of t? So already you know this x of t, which is a periodic signal. So using the Fourier series, we represent any periodic signal in terms of the complex exponential functions. So this is the representation of your signal using the Fourier series, because Fourier series we are using only for the periodic signals. So Cn into delta of omega minus n times omega naught. So this is the formula. So this is very important formula. So this is your x of j omega. So this is your x of j omega. So this is the formula for the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. Very simple. I want to find the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. First you should know the what is a periodic signal. You already know the periodic signal x of t. So you already know the complex exponential Fourier series expansion, how to represent your x of t using the complex exponential Fourier series expansion. So this is the formula for x of t, representation of x of t. So your x of t is a periodic signal, therefore you need to find the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. For that I just apply the Fourier transform on both sides of this equation. Here Cn is constant, therefore no need to apply the Fourier transform for Cn. Only the variable here is Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught t. So already you know the Fourier transform of the exponential complex exponential signal. So this is the formula. So this is the fourth property of the Fourier the standard signals in the sequence. So you already know this property, 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. How can you derive this one? So to derive this one, we just use this signal. So for this signal we are going to find out the inverse Fourier transform. From that only we will find out the Fourier transform, because your signal e power j omega naught t is not an absolutely integrable signal. So that's why we find out the Fourier transform using the indirect method. So using that method we find out the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal like this, 2 pi times delta of omega minus omega naught. Here plus is there, therefore here in the result we will get minus sign. So I just use that formula in this equation. Fourier transform of e power jn omega naught is what? So instead of omega naught here, n times omega naught is there. So you just substitute, replace omega by omega n times omega naught. So this is the formula for the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. So in this you have to find the Cn. You have to find the Cn. So you already know how to find out the Cn, which is the complex exponential Fourier series coefficient. So after finding this Cn, you just substitute in this summation, so that you will get the frequency domain representation of the periodic signal. Frequency domain representation of the periodic signal. Now you just observe this. So I want to draw the plot of this x of j omega with respect to omega. Here there is one important conclusion from the plot. So first you just observe the result. You just remember this result. So the result is, so the Fourier transform of x of t is x of j omega. So the Fourier transform of x of t is equal to x of j omega. Here x of t is a periodic signal. So x of j omega is what? Sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity 2 pi Cn into delta of omega minus n times omega naught. So this is the result. So I can elaborate this result. This is the summation. So I can represent your x of j omega. I am going to plot x of j omega versus omega, because there is an important conclusion from that plot. So for that I just elaborate this expression. This summation is ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So and so on and so on and so on. It is from minus infinity. So I just consider the n equal to minus 2 here. So if I consider n equal to minus 2, now what is the result here? 2 pi into c minus 2. I consider n equal to minus 2 on the negative side of the real axis. So delta of omega plus 2 omega naught. So n equal to minus 2 here. It is ranging from minus infinity, n equal to minus infinity. So I just considered 5 samples from n equal to minus 2, n equal to plus 2. So n equal to minus 1. So what is n equal to minus 1? I just substitute the values of n from minus infinity to plus infinity. So here n equal to minus 2. This is the sample corresponding to n equal to minus 2. Now what is the next sample? N equal to minus 1. So 2 pi into c minus 1. So which is delta of omega plus omega naught. Next, this is the sample corresponding to n equal to minus 1. You just observe. So there is an important conclusion from this result. Next, what is n equal to 0th sample value? So 2 pi c naught into delta of omega. So this is the sample corresponding to n equal to 0. Now after n equal to 0 we have what? N equal to 1. So if we substitute n equal to 1, so 2 pi times c1 into delta of omega minus omega naught. So this is the sample corresponding to n equal to 1. So after n equal to 1 we have what? So n equal to 2. So if I substitute n equal to 2, so 2 pi times c2 into delta of omega minus 2 omega naught. So this is the sample corresponding to n equal to 2, and so on plus 3, and so on plus, and so on plus up to the infinity value. I just expand this result x of j omega by substituting the different values of the n, so from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now I just observe the plot of x of j omega. I am going to plot x of j omega, so with respect to the omega. So this is my plot x of j omega. How the spectrum of x of j omega look like? the spectrum of x of j omega. What is spectrum? Spectrum is nothing but the different frequency components. A spectrum is nothing but different frequencies ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So this is omega axis. So what is the plot of x of j omega versus omega? Here omega is 0. So if we put omega equal to 0, so in this expression, so this is only defined at omega equal to 0. Delta of omega is what? The unit impulse signal. So which is defined only at what? N equal to 0. At n equal to 0 what? This value is, delta of omega value is 1. So when you multiply 1 with 2 pi c naught, so what is the amplitude we will get here? So 2 pi times c naught. So that is the at omega equal to 0. This is your x of j omega. This is your x of j omega. Now at omega equal to omega naught. So at omega equal to omega, I want to calculate this entire expression at omega equal to omega naught. So at omega equal to omega naught, you observe here. So this is the only signal defined at omega equal to omega naught. All other signals are 0. This signal is only defined at omega equal to 0. Therefore the weight associated with delta of omega is, so this is the weight 2 pi into c naught. And when comes to the next, delta of omega minus omega naught, this is the shifted version of delta of omega. So it is defined only at omega equal to omega naught. Already you know this concept. Delta of omega minus omega naught is what? The shifted version of delta of omega, and it is defined only at omega equal to omega naught. So at omega naught, so what is the weight associated with the delta of omega minus omega naught? It is 2 pi times. So this is what? 2 pi times c1. 2 pi times c1. Next, at omega equal to, so at omega equal to 2 omega naught. At omega equal to 2 omega naught. So this is the value we'll get at this place. So what is the weight associated with the impulse? So at omega equal to 2 omega naught. So this is 2 pi times c2. So that is 2 pi times c2. So already you know the impulse signal. So what is the impulse signal? So this is your impulse signal, delta of omega. So it is defined only at omega equal to 0. So at other places of the omega, so that is omega is less than 0 and omega is greater than 0, its value is 0. Only it is defined at omega equal to 0. So like that, if you take this function delta of omega minus omega naught, so delta of omega minus omega naught, so you just shift this delta of omega towards the right hand side by omega naught units. So this is your delta of omega minus omega naught. So it is only defined at omega naught. So at other places of omega naught, so its value is 0. So like that the remaining functions also defined their respective omega values only. So after this what? 2 pi c3. So which is defined at omega equal to 3 times omega naught. So this is about the right hand side. Like that the pulse is continuous up to the infinity value. Now at on the negative side of the real axis, observe here. So at omega equal to minus omega naught. Now you come to this signal. So at omega equal to omega naught, what happens? So we will get the impulse signal. So this impulse signal is associated with the weight of 2 pi into c minus 1. Because your delta of omega plus omega naught is only defined at omega equal to minus omega naught. So what about the other functions? At omega equal to minus omega naught, other functions are 0, becomes 0. Next, if you take this is only defined only at omega equal to minus 2 omega naught. So at omega equal to minus 2 omega naught, so this function is only defined. So remaining functions are 0 at omega equal to 2 minus 2 omega naught. Therefore at omega equal to minus 2 omega naught, what is the weight associated with the impulse function? The weight is 2 pi times c minus 2. So like that the pattern of the signal continues up to the minus infinity, on the negative side of the real x-axis. So this is the spectrum of your periodic signal in the frequency domain. So I just find out the Fourier transform of x of t. For that I got x of j omega. Here x of j omega is what? The frequency domain signal. So it is a complex signal. It is having both the magnitude and the phase. I just draw the plot of x of j omega versus omega. So using this expression, using this summation, I just draw this plot. So this is the plot of x of j omega versus omega, which is the spectrum of the periodic signal in the frequency domain. Now if you observe this spectrum, so this spectrum is a train of impulses. So this is the name of the spectrum, train of impulses. So this spectrum look like the impulse train. The spectrum look like the impulse train. The spectrum of the periodic signal, Fourier transform of a periodic signal in the frequency domain looks like a impulse train. Only the spectrum consists of the impulse signals, and at each and every frequency the impulse signal is associated with the corresponding weight. So like that at omega equal to minus 2 omega naught, so the impulse signal is associated with the weight of 2 pi into c minus 2. So at omega equal to minus omega naught, it is associated with a weight of 2 pi into c minus 1. So like that at different instants the spectrum is a train of pulses. Is spectrum of the Fourier transform of a periodic signal looks like the impulse train. So at each and every instant the impulse is associated with the corresponding weight, like this. These are the weights of the impulse train. So this is about the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. So this is very important, Fourier transform of the periodic signal. For the examination point of view, this is very important essay question. Fourier transform. Find out the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. So like that the question is given in the examination. Find out the Fourier transform of the periodic signal. You just remember this expression. So this is the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. Next, if you want to derive the Fourier transform of a periodic signal, you must know first the fourth property of the Fourier transform. So which is the fourth property? That is the Fourier transform of the complex exponential signal. If you don't know that property, it is not possible to find out the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. So this is about the Fourier transform of a periodic signal. So next we are going to discuss another important function, which is the rectangular function. So the Fourier transform of a rectangular function, so we call this rectangular function as the gate function. Fourier transform of a rectangular function. So this is about the Fourier transform of a rectangular function. So a rectangular function, already you know the rectangular function. So the rectangular function is also called as what? The gate function. Rectangular function is also called as the gate function. How can we represent this rectangular function? So rectangular function is represented like this. So rect of t by tau. Here tau is nothing but the width of the rectangular pulse, t by tau. If tau equal to 1, so the representation is rect of t. So like that here tau indicates the width of the rectangular pulse. So after the signal, you can easily realize what is tau here, or we can represent the rectangular function pi of t by tau. So this is another way of representing the rectangular function. So I want to find out the Fourier transform of the rectangular function. So what is the Fourier transform of the rectangular function? Now if you draw the rectangular function, so the rectangular function is look like, so this is your rectangular function. So this is your rectangular function. So a rectangular function, so you just observe the rectangular function. Here the rectangular function is having width of tau. Here the denominator indicates the width of your rectangular function. Here rectangular function is ranging from minus tau by 2 to tau by 2. So that is the width. Now what is the width of this rectangular function? So the width is tau. Here the width is tau. If I take tau equal to 1, what is the width? Width is 1. Therefore the rectangular function representation is what? Rect of t. And the height of the rectangular function is, let us consider it is 1. 1 is the height of the rectangular function. Height is 1, width is tau. Now this is your rectangular function. That is the representation of your rectangular function. So it is indicated with rect of t by tau. Here tau is width of the rectangular function. Suppose if I take a rectangular function is rect of t. Meaning is here your tau is 1. That means what are the ranges? Ranges are minus 1 by 2 to 1 by 2. So those are the ranges. So it depends on the tau value, the width varies. Width of the rectangular pulse varies. But here the height is 1 because the amplitude of the rectangular pulse is what? 1. So if I consider the amplitude of rectangular pulse A, so in that case what is my height of the rectangular pulse? It is A. Capital A is my height of the rectangular pulse. So like that, so depends on the signal, we need to change the representation of your rectangular pulse. Here 1 indicates the amplitude or height of the rectangular pulse. Tau is the width of the rectangular pulse. So you just remember these two. Tau is the width and height is 1. So if A is given as the height, you can take height as the A. A is not given here. So height is given as 1. So I just considered the 1. Later we generalize this rectangular function for any type of representation. Now I want to find out the Fourier transform of the rectangular pulse. Now you just observe, if you want to apply the Fourier transform of any signal, the signal must be absolutely integrable. So in other cases, if the signal is absolutely integrable only, we can use the formula of the Fourier transform. Now you observe this rectangular function is a absolutely integrable signal or not. So absolutely integrable means when you integrate your rectangular pulse, so which is rect of t by tau, so in between minus infinity to plus infinity, you should get a value less than infinity. So you definitely get the value less than infinity, because when you integrate means you need to calculate the area under the rectangular pulse. What is the area under the rectangular pulse? So this is your area under the rectangular pulse. So your width is tau, height is 1. Now what is the area? Tau is the area of the rectangular pulse. Now if you do this integration, you should get what? So you should get tau value, so which is a finite value. Therefore using the Fourier transform, directly we can find out the Fourier transform of the rectangular pulse. So we directly use this formula to calculate the Fourier transform of the rectangular function, which is x of j omega. So what is the formula? Integral minus infinity to plus infinity. Here x of t into e power, so minus j omega t dt. So if you want to use this formula, here the x of t is absolutely integrable signal. So the meaning of absolutely integrable is nothing but, so if you integrate your signal, given signal, in between minus infinity to plus infinity range, you should get a finite value. So in this case, you should get a tau. When you integrate your rectangular function minus infinity to plus infinity, you should get a tau value. so which is a finite value. Therefore you can directly use this formula to calculate the Fourier transform of your rectangular function. Now in the formula ranges are given from minus infinity to plus infinity. So no need to consider the ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity, because the function is only defined from minus tau by 2 to tau by 2. So in other places the function value is 0. Therefore I can write down directly the limits of the integration, so which are ranging from minus tau to tau by 2 to tau by 2. So I won't consider minus infinity to minus tau by 2 because its value is 0. So and after t by 2 to infinity, its value is also 0. No need to consider those limits. Only consider the limits up to minus tau by 2 to tau by 2, because your rectangular function is defined only in this range. Now minus tau by 2 to tau by 2, what is your x of t? What is your x of t? What is your rectangular function value? Your rectangular function value is what? 1. So 1 into e power, so minus j omega t dt. So in between minus tau by 2 to tau by 2, your rectangular function is what? 1. Therefore I consider your rectangular function is 1 in between minus tau by 2 to tau by 2. Now what about the integration? Integral e power minus j omega t dt is what? So e power minus j omega t divided by what? The coefficient of the t, which is minus j omega, and you just substitute the limits minus tau by 2 to tau by 2. Substitute the limits. So what is the result here? We will get minus j omega into, first substitute the upper limit. So what is the upper limit? It is tau by 2 minus j omega tau by 2 minus, substitute the lower limit here. What is the lower limit? So e power t is minus tau by 2 to minus minus becomes plus j omega tau by 2. So that is the lower limit, the corresponding term for lower limit. Now we already know e power minus jx is what? Cos x minus j sin x. What is e power jx? Cos x plus j sin x. So e power jx is what? Cos x plus j sin x. So this is of the formula e power minus jx. So whenever e power minus jx is there, so what is the formula? So here the formula is cos x minus j times sin x. You just elaborate this e power minus jx using this expression. Now you also e power j omega tau by 2 is what? This is the of this form. Now so what is remaining here? Minus 1 by j omega into, so e power minus jx minus e power jx. E power minus jx minus e power jx is what? Here we will get minus 2j into sin x. So e power minus jx, first term is e power minus jx minus e power jx. Substitute this from this, so that we will get what? Minus 2j into sin x. So this is minus 2j sin x. In terms of the x, what is the representation? Omega tau by 2. So that is the remaining from this expression. So minus 2j into sin omega tau by 2. Here j gets cancelled. So minus minus becomes what? Plus. So remaining is what? 2 by omega. So 2 by omega into sin of omega tau by 2. Sin of omega tau by 2. I just rearranging this expression. So because I want to represent this expression in terms of the sinc function. So omega tau by 2 divided by, here omega is already there. So I just multiply tau and divide with tau. So this 2, like this I can write. So omega tau by 2 into tau, like that I can rearrange in this expression. So I just multiply tau and divide with tau. So remaining is same. Now how can we write this expression? Sin x by x is what? Sin x by x is what? So your sinc function. Now what is your result? So tau into, so what is your sinc function? Sinc function is nothing but sinc of omega tau by 2. So this is your sin x by x. Sin x by x is what? Sinc of x. What is your sinc function? Already you know standard signals. In the standard signals I already completed the sinc function. The sinc function representation is like this. Sinc of x is sin x by x. So this term looks like sin x by x. Sin x by x is sinc x. Here x is what? Omega tau by 2. So tau times sin sinc of omega tau by 2. So this is the answer for yours. So this is rect of t by tau. The Fourier transform of the rectangular function is what? So the tau times sinc of omega tau by 2. Omega tau by 2. So this is very important. The Fourier transform of your rectangular function is nothing but tau times, here tau is what? Here tau is what? So the area of the rectangular function. So area of rectangular. So area of rectangular into sinc of omega. Omega is common. So omega into tau by 2. Here tau by 2 is what? Half of the width of the rectangular function. Like that you can remember the expression. So to remember this expression, just you keep on these 2 points. So Fourier transform of rect of t by tau is nothing but, here tau is nothing but the area of the rectangular. Tau is nothing but the area of the rectangular. We already calculated the area of the rectangular is tau into sinc of omega into tau by 2. Tau by 2 is nothing but half of the width of the rectangular function. Half of the width of the rectangular function. Suppose if I want to find out if I generalize this expression, suppose if I want to find out the Fourier transform of a times, so a times rect of t by 4. A times rect of t by 4. Now what is my answer? So my answer is nothing but, first you calculate the area of the rectangular. So after that simply sinc of omega times tau by 2. Here tau by 2 is what? Half of the width of the rectangular pulse. First you develop the rectangular pulse. So based on the equation given, and you just write the using this standard expression. Using this standard expression, you just write the answer. Your answer. That is the generalized case. Here the weight of the rectangular pulse is 1. Here tau is in the answer, you just remember, here tau is area of the rectangular pulse. Here already we find out the area of the rectangular pulse, which is width into height. Here height is 1, width is tau. Sinc of omega of tau by 2. Here tau by 2 is, omega is common. So omega is common, omega into tau by 2. Here tau by 2 is what? Half of the width of rectangular pulse. So half of the width of the rectangular pulse. So this is all about the Fourier transform of the rectangular function. So this is all about this class.